Hello, probers.
Howdy, howdy.
Welcome to But It Was Aliens, the extraterrestrial comedy podcast hosted by two former MIBs, where we investigate cases of the extraterrestrial to bring you the truth. I'm your host today, Moonwalker, and opposite me as always is Greybeard, my co-ho.
Pardon? You just call me a hoe?
No, I called you a co-ho.
So you're a hoe too?
Yeah, buddy!
I can live with that. Thought you were being aggressive.
Who, me?
What up, hoe?
Today, we bring you one of our first listener recommendations. So a huge thank you to Lucky Lucas for today's probe.
Lucas!
Lucas on Smash was an annoying little bastard.
Oh, gosh, yeah, but he wasn't as bad as Ness.
That is true. So today, we venture across the pond to California.
Knows how to party.
And specifically, the City of Angels.
I thought you were going to say the City of Love there. Is that Paris?
I think so.
Paddy!
Oh, wee. So Los Angeles. We're going back to a time before California knew how to party. We're going back to 1942.
Oh, I bet there were some parties in 1942.
Bet there were.
Maybe some harder parties in like 1938, 1937.
Yeah, but I bet there might have been parties, but I bet they didn't know how to party.
Mafia parties.
They didn't know how to party. That was Greybeard. This event took place a few months after the US entered into World War II. And after the devastating attack on Pearl Harbor by the Japanese. Paranoia was rife across the West Coast. Paranoia that Imperial Japan would launch an invasion attempt or an assault on the mainland. Rolling blackouts were a thing across the West Coast as rumours gathered momentum of Japanese submarines lurking off the coast. Seattle imposed a blackout of all buildings, which wasn't adhered to by all. Some businesses decided to keep their lights on. Those businesses were subjected to vandalism and destruction by a mob of 2,000 residents.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Walt Disney Studios was protected by 500 troops from the US Army.
So Walt Disney didn't shut down?
I don't know if it was a case that they didn't shut down or just that the buildings and everything in it was protected. So they paid some of that sweet moolah.
Some of that Mickey money.
Yeah.
So they bought... I'm going to come back to that in a second. But they basically bought the army. That's not a good thing to be able to do, is it?
No, not at all.
Oh, dear. Mickey Mouse is a disturbing character.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's something horrific about him. Imagine if you, like, opened your door and he was there. Oh, hey there. Oh, gee, fella. As he whacks you with a hammer.
Sticks his dick in your face.
Oh, does he have...
I have no idea why my mind just went straight to that.
Does Mickey Mouse have a bulge in, like, the mock-ups of him?
Not a clue. Not looked hard enough.
Have they given Mickey a package? It's a question we need answered.
Disney pack.
Now, this is a very interesting time. When you said Pearl Harbor, I really wanted to start singing, and Pearl Harbor sucks. Is that from Team America?
Yeah.
And I miss you. Is that how it goes? Can't remember. I can just remember.
I think that is.
Pearl Harbor sucks.
They start going on about Ben Affleck.
I haven't seen that film for a few years.
Watch it now.
And I really hope that it hasn't turned it was bad at the time, but I hope it hasn't turned like real inappropriately offensive. Because at the time I thought that was hilarious. The sick scene to this day, although I haven't seen it for a couple of years, as I just said, but every time I've seen that, I can't hold the laughs in. I always think it's coming, I'm not going to laugh, it's not funny anymore.
It's the poke in the eye.
And then it just keeps going.
The poke in the eye gets me. But it's because I know it's coming, and then it's a slow moving finger. It just pokes him in the eye. Cracks me every time. And the scene at the Panama Canal when the dam breaks and the water goes. There's a scene, if you look in the background, there's a puppet trying to run up. I lose it every single time.
Getting back on topic. Yeah, I thought the mobs were attacking the places that didn't turn their lights off and whatnot. So I assumed that's why Disney got the army in, because they had their lights on and they were protecting them from mobs. If they were just getting the army in general, or was the US just like raging and vandalising anyway? I don't know.
Who?
Questions.
Indeed.
Give me the answers.
So in preparation for war, the US installed anti-air guns, air raid bunkers, and like I said earlier, rolling blackouts. These were drilled into the American population from December 1941 to February 1942. 14 US merchant ships had been attacked. Of the 14 attacked, 7 were sunk, 3 were damaged, 1 suffered minor damage, and 3 escaped. You can see why people were worried.
Oh, absolutely. It's war.
Mm-hmm.
What is it good for?
During this time, President Franklin D. Roosevelt
Where are you, boy?
would conduct fireside chats with the American population. This was an evening radio series in which he'd speak with familiarity and quell rumours, explain his policies, and much more directly to the public. We should do fireside chats.
Quell the rumours? Which rumours should we quell? The one about us bathing together.
Is that a rumour?
I didn't hear it, did you?
No.
What? What rumour?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Rumour quelled.
What about the one that we sleep in the same bed?
That's fact.
You did once sleep on the floor outside my bedroom. Well, I say slept.
Passed out.
I don't even know why you came back here. It's Christmas morning.
I was off my face. All I remember is going into the bathroom, opened the door and face planted on the floor. That was it. Out cold.
At least you didn't sleep in the bathroom that time.
Yeah.
That wasn't fun when I needed a pee in the morning. You were out cold on the toilet with the door locked.
And by on the toilet,
Yeah.
I was hugging the toilet bowl.
I was going to say, I don't mean sitting on the toilet. I mean your head was resting on the toilet. Weird, in that house I had, there was a window. So there was a conservatory outside and a window went into the toilet. So you could actually see in if you...
Went.
Yeah. Glad you were clothed.
Yes, me too.
Never really thought about that, but that is weird, isn't it? I'd hate to have a toilet with a window in it like that these days.
Oh, well. To be young and dumb again, eh?
Indeed.
So during one of these fireside chats, the Japanese submarine I-17 surfaced near Santa Barbara and shelled Elwood oil field. Although the damage was minimal, this set shit off,
Yeah.
with the public and the military fearing an invasion was imminent. This had happened 4 months earlier in Alaska, so it wasn't unheard of.
Really, in Alaska?
Mm-hmm. Below is a picture of a sub, not unlike the one mentioned.
I'm glad that's the sub you're showing me.
I was so tempted to put a Subway sandwich there.
I'm glad that would have been the Subway you're showing me too. Not the person
I
we
couldn't
know.
find a picture of him, so you're lucky.
That's pretty lengthy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I love boats. Anyone who knows me will tell you that I absolutely love boats. Boats. Very expensive to own, but I'm not so keen on submarines. I don't like the concept of being that deep underwater with all that pressure.
What, so you'd like to be able to jump off the side of the boat and sink, rather than just sink on the inside? Sink on the inside, I'm dead.
I was going to say I'm a floater, son. It was just about to come out of my mouth. I'm a swimmer. I'm not a swimmer, but I will swim if my life depends upon it. If you're in a sub, you ain't got that chance.
No, you haven't.
And what's it called? The bends? When you get like the bubbles in your... If you come up too quickly, there's a condition you get with like bubbles in your... Oh, I can't think. Is it your arteries, your veins or something, and it kills you? Really?
No idea.
Yeah, it's really nasty.
I know there's shock. Like if you jump in,
If you come up...
try to come straight up, you can go into shock.
But yeah, submarines aren't for me. Brave people, especially in war times.
So the following day, the Office of Naval Intelligence issued a warning that an attack was extremely likely within the next 10 hours. That evening, many flares and blinking lights were reported.
Do you ever get it when someone says flare and you want to go, woo? Clearly you do.
Just after 7... Oh, I'll do the walk as well now, you bastard. I really want to get up and...
Yeah. That's more of a robot than a strut.
Well, my legs have no space to do anything. So just after 7, an alert was called, which was then called off just before 10:30. This is in the evening. In the very early hours of February 25th, air raid sirens sounded throughout LA.
That's a scary sound as well.
Air raid wardens were sent to their stations and a total blackout was ordered.
Well, I hope the people respected this blackout.
Not unlike
Everyone,
the last.
go to Disney. Get that fucking mouse. What? What are you all coming here for?
You want a spanking? What? The reason for the blackout, and
It's that little chuckle.
What?
Yeah, that one.
The reason for the blackout. He's gone again.
I'm just in my head now. I'm imagining a really aggressive Mickey Mouse. Well, what the fuck you looking at? What? Going around robbing people. I don't know how I got there, but that
Gun out. Stick him up.
you better ride or die, bitch. I can't even do the chuckle. Well, come on then.
Let's get back.
Yeah, please. I need that out of my mind.
So the reason for the blackout, an unidentified object had been picked up on radar.
I'm sorry. Now I've got an image of Mickey defending the Disney officers like Scarface at the end of Scarface. He's got cocaine all over his face.
Cocaine Mickey.
Say hello to my little friend, huh?
I might draw that.
Please do. I'm good.
I'll start again. The reason for the blackout, an unidentified object had been picked up on radar.
Ooh.
The object was moving inland. Once the blackout was ordered, there were reports of enemy planes spotted by a coastal artillery colonel. Even though the object had disappeared from radar, he claims that he saw approximately 15 to 25 enemy planes at around 12,000 feet.
Okay, the army saw this, so we've got legit
We've got a
witnesses
colonel.
already, yeah.
Yeah.
Colonel, yeah.
Colonel. At 3:16,
The glass broke.
the 37th Coast Artillery Brigade began firing 50 cal machine gun rounds and 12.8 pound anti-aircraft shells into the air at a reported aircraft. Pilots of the 4th Interceptor Command were alerted but stayed grounded. The gunfire didn't stop until 4:14 a.m., nearly a complete hour later. The all clear was sounded and the blackout was lifted at 7:21. Once the dust had settled, over 1,400 rounds had been fired,
Crikey.
but there was nothing. No downed craft, no debris, nothing whatsoever.
So they fired at reported craft for approximately 4 hours.
1 hour. Just under an hour.
Oh, I thought...
From 3:16 to 4:14. 58 minutes.
Oh, sorry, I thought I'd somehow got in my head 3:16 to 7:21. Apologies.
Blackout was lifted at 7:20.
Yeah, okay, I'm with you. So about an hour. Reported. Why do you say reported rather than confirmed?
Because that's what he reported that he saw.
Just tell me what fucking happened. I'm sorry. I was having too much fun. They must have been pretty sure that they're... Oh my gosh. I've just had a realisation. So they must have been pretty sure that someone was there to fire for an hour at it.
Mm-hmm.
What happens to all those bullets? Oh shit, son. What goes up must come down. They're going to make it rain. That's... Oh no. I hope everyone's locked inside. This was in the middle of a built-up area.
Not sure exactly where it was.
It was
and
LA,
how
wasn't
many.
it?
It was in LA, but I don't know what part of LA, so I don't know how many civilians and stuff were nearby.
See, in my
Exactly.
head, I'm thinking that LA is like London, which is probably a
Quite
really stupid
populated
thing
and
because
dense.
America's a lot bigger than England, and there's probably lots. Obviously, well, we know there's lots of rich folk there with massive properties, loads of. It's a very big place, and there's going to be places with lots of space, isn't there? So maybe this isn't as catastrophic as I've suddenly jumped to the conclusion.
I think it
then
wasn't
would
on
the
the
military
coast, it was coming inland, wasn't it?
Would the military have taken that risk?
Well, to just fire at nothing.
Just
or
to
with,
fire in a built-up area?
Well,
I don't know.
I suppose you just have to, you got to do, haven't you? To take out an enemy craft. Or
Again, they've got to be certain there's craft there to take that decision, haven't they?
Yep. And we had confirmation from a colonel that he saw 15 to 25.
Okay.
So over 1,400 rounds and not a damn thing was hit other than some damage to their own buildings and a few vehicles caused by the shells. So I have a picture of the shooters here for you, Kev.
This better be a picture of Slippy Toad.
If you'd like to scroll.
Can't hit nothing. Okay. Good call. Gravel has shown me a picture of stormtroopers. They never hit anything. Highly trained their whole clone lives and can't hit a thing. Good call, sir.
So obviously these aren't the shooters, but you'd be forgiven for thinking they were. Although there was nothing hit, unfortunately there was loss of life.
Oh no.
3 people died in car accidents, and 2 others suffered heart attacks due to all the chaos.
Do we have the info there, or is that as much as we know?
That's as much as we know.
So we don't know whether they were seeing things above them and that made them crash, or whether it was falling bullets that hit their cars?
It's possible, or they may have been driving at speeds when the blackout happened, and then
But
I suppose you'd still have your car lights, wouldn't you?
yeah, but you wouldn't drive around during a blackout because you wouldn't be able to see, would you? That would be ridiculous.
No, but I mean, maybe you were driving at the time the blackout hit, and then all of a sudden all the lights go, and
Shh. You'd still have your headlights on though if you didn't know, and that would be really irresponsible.
that is true.
3 people dead. You bastard, you waited for me to take a sip of my drink. You've probably been holding that.
So hours after the raid had ended, William Frank Knox, who was the Secretary of the Navy, issued a press conference saying that it was a false alarm and that it was caused by anxiety and war nerves.
Ooh. Whoa. That is unusual. You must be certain, like... That's hard to buy. Before making that call, again, we've had people die, so I'm assuming it was populated.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to be absolutely bang on certain before deciding that, surely.
Yep.
And now they're saying it didn't happen and there was nothing there and it's war nerves. So they're did they pay off the people who passed away?
How could...
The families.
Oh.
Sorry, I knew what I was thinking, but it didn't come out necessarily fully formed.
Some of the newspapers at the time thought that this was just a cover-up. Like I said, over 1,400 shots fired.
I'm in.
For nearly an hour. For nearly an hour.
Why are you trying to bullshit me for?
Something must have been in the sky. General George C. Marshall put out a statement the day after Knox, stating that what they believed happened is that enemy agents used commercial planes in a psychological warfare campaign in an attempt to cause mass panic. If this was truly the case, then the Japanese succeeded, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, the Japanese had some interesting ways about them during this period. Obviously, that's the origin of the kamikaze pilot, for example. So we've got conflicting stories here, though, haven't we? One saying it's a cover-up. No, sorry, one saying that it didn't happen, and we're sorry, we got scared. There was nothing there. The other saying that it was commercial planes. Surely if it was commercial planes, they'd have clocked onto them and shot them down, though. Yeah, I call bullshit on that one.
What if he had come out just to cover the military's asses, though?
Yeah.
From the first one.
He's still bullshitting.
Like, trained soldiers just getting nervous and firing on nothing when they're meant to be the best of the best.
I don't know if this is just me wanting to believe the best in people, but I find it really hard to imagine a military agreeing to fire over cities
Populated
potentially
areas.
Unless they're absolutely certain
That something's
and maybe
there
I'm naive and they really don't give a crap
in
about their
danger.
countries, but yeah, I don't know.
But what if it was something else? Something otherworldly? Take a look at this.
Okay, I'm going to take a look at this, but bearing in mind this podcast is called But It Was Aliens.
Well, take a look and
It hadn't
describe.
occurred to me that this could be aliens. I was just along for the ride. I was interested. So I'm looking at a photo, black and white, that appears to show... Is that Searchlight, the main light?
Yeah, Searchlights.
There's a searchlight on something in the sky. There does appear to be some sort of really faint outline within it.
But look how many searchlights are
Yeah,
on
there's
that
lots of
one
searchlights. And what I was about to say is that are they all amalgamating into one predominant light where they're meeting, and that's what the outline we're looking at, and there is nothing there? But regardless, there's loads of little dots around it that I'm guessing are... I can't tell if they are potential crafts or even smaller... No, they've got to be bigger, haven't they? Because that's far away. Or bullets?
Yeah, it could be gunfire.
Could be gunfire reflecting. Could be... Yeah, it's got to be gunfire because there's a lot of them lower as well. They're spread out. I don't really know what else to say about them. Interesting. Looks like they're all firing in the same kind of direction towards the centre of the lights, but again, is there something in that centre, or is that where the lights all meet?
Exactly. So, can you see the craft that they're firing at in that picture?
I'm not sure.
Well, I have another picture that gives you a closer view.
Okay. I don't know if... I might be more confused now. So we've got another picture, black and white, showing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 approximately searchlights. All 2 of them are certainly meeting. The others look like they're all going in the same direction. There does appear to be some sort of presence in the middle where all these spotlights almost meet in the sky.
Does the shape of that craft look familiar to you in any way?
I can make an argument for that being a couple of different types of crafts. From some perspectives, that could be a tic-tac, upside down potentially, but from others, it could be a dish with a bobble on the top. Again, there's little lights around it that could be bullets or could be other crafts. It's hard to say without knowing the distance this was taken from.
Okay. So, if you would like to scroll down again, and then once you see that, does the one in the searchlights now look familiar?
It's Independence Day. This is amusing because I watched Independence Day only a few days ago. I love the first Independence Day. It looks like the craft they have at Area 51 in Independence Day. But obviously you have just put that image in my mind. But looking back at the other image, there is a bobble in the middle. And what would you even call the shape that sits underneath it?
I don't know, to be honest.
Almost like take a triangle and squash the top down and make the sides rounded.
Like a spinning top?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Good. Yeah, that's a good description. It's like a spinning top.
So was the small ship in Independence Day based off of what they saw that day?
Welcome to Earth!
Or is it just a coincidence?
Huh? That's absolutely got to be a coincidence.
Has it?
It has to be.
It was a rolling blackout. It's highly plausible that they didn't miss their target. Let me just reiterate. 1,400 rounds, and it lasted just under an hour. Did it crash either in the water or out in an open field, desert or something, and they just happened to send a team out to collect it before they put the lights back on?
Are you about to turn this into the plot of Independence Day? Are you going to tell me they've shot down a craft, they've got the craft, we're heading to Area 51 to see the craft?
I'm not telling you anything, you just said it.
I'd love that, please. Can we go?
So, as you can imagine, there were plenty of theories knocking around. We've had anxiety and war nerves, enemy agents with commercial planes. There's one suggesting a secret base in North Mexico. Others believe it may have been staged or exaggerated to give coastal defense industries an excuse to move more inland. Like I said earlier, newspapers picked this mystery up and ran with it. The Long Beach Independent had a quote which read, There is a mysterious reticence about the whole affair, and it appears that some form of censorship is trying to halt discussion on the matter. A congressional investigation was called for by Representative Leland M. Ford, who had said that it was a complete mystification and that none of the explanations that had been given up to now could dispel it. After the war ended in 1945, Japan claimed that they had not flown any planes over LA during the war.
Of course they did.
There is one report that an object was shot down and landed in flames at a Hollywood intersection.
Was there now? Do we have any more reports around the object that may or may not have been shot down in flames?
No. But isn't that what they would want?
A Hollywood intersection. That's got to be built up, hasn't it? Got to be.
Who knows? Not at that time.
Now I'm talking
Not in
myself.
the early hours.
That's what I was just about to say. During a blackout, would it have been? Everyone should be at home.
Mm-hmm. Especially at that time of night, you'd have been asleep.
Bastard.
Or woken up and just hiding.
I want to be in on this one.
Let it in.
Mickey the Fiend.
So what was it they saw if not an alien craft?
Meteor.
The US wouldn't be stupid enough to fly a craft over and shoot at their own, would they? And it's not like this is Roswell and they'd say it was a weather balloon. But in 1983, the US Office of Air Force History put forth their conclusion. All analysis and evidence point to this being the result of a fuck's sake. A balloon.
You could have just said weather balloon.
As the cause of the alert. These balloons were released by the US military, which begs the question, why? If you knew the direction of the wind, you knew the situation, why would you send balloons up? The commander, who initially said he saw 15 to 25 planes, soon changed his mind and claims that he saw smoke, which would be conceivable considering the smoke from the gunfire and the shells being fired caused so much. But he originally saw this before shots had been fired.
Okay, cool.
So who got to him and what are they trying to cover up?
So I've had a thought come in there. Is it possible they were testing nearby? Because militaries may have been sending up like radar jamming technology. So one rumoured suggestion is that like you get balloons going up that can be really like reflective of radio waves and whatnot.
Why would you do that at that time, considering the situation,
Secret
and not
testing?
tell the rest of the military?
Secret. Maybe one base commander wasn't clued in. And he was like, fire, boys!
The one that saw it.
Yeah, him.
He was on the toilet when the report came in.
He came back to his station, saw all these blips. Oh, shit!
So the Hollywood film Battle for Los Angeles,
I was really hoping you were going to say Independence Day.
very, very loosely based on this event, featured the images I showed you earlier of the searchlights. They used that in the trailer. Now, we know we weren't invaded, but perhaps the film is a what-if scenario. Maybe what if they hadn't managed to shoot down that UFO, which was also depicted in Independence Day.
So the images were real?
The images are real.
Yeah.
So, to summarise, shortly after the attack on Pearl Harbor
Sucks.
and the US entry into World War II, Japan had subs stationed off the coast of LA. A US radar picked up a UFO, which was then followed by reports of aircraft being spotted. The object disappeared from radar and a blackout was called. During the blackout, an artillery colonel witnessed 15 to 25 planes overhead. Then commenced gunfire, which lasted just under an hour. Over 1,400 shells were fired, but nothing was hit. Pictures show searchlights pointing towards an object. Was it smoke or something else? An official came out the next day and reported that the shots were a false alarm due to panic and war nerves. Papers ran with a cover-up, and officials put forth explanations until after the war, when it was claimed that a weather balloon was the cause for the confusion. So we've had the balloon excuse before. So do you believe it? Or do you think that it's something else? Is this aliens? Yes, it is.
I've just had another theory come up. Going back to my test idea, what if the Japanese had come up with that technology and had let it out of their subs, and it was their plan to cause mayhem, only it wasn't with commercial planes?
What with?
Balloons.
But the US said they released them, apparently.
Yeah, but maybe the US didn't have that technology and they were... It's sensitive. They didn't want to let the world know that someone had better shit than them. Yeah. which is actually an argument that's being made at the moment around all the drones and whatnot that, or I say drones, UFOs, UAP/drones. They're suggesting that the US might have similar technology themselves, and they're pushing it as, they're not saying it's not aliens, to throw people off their scent because they're using the same shit on other countries.
Ew.
Not that I'm saying that's the facts, but that's a theory out there. So yeah, maybe we've got some double bluffs going on. I would really like to say this was aliens, so I'm going to disappoint you. I don't think it's... I don't have enough to make me say that it's aliens. I think there needs to be a little bit more evidence. This is a very suspicious time. We know that people were in the air. It's really interesting, and actually I've really enjoyed this one, but just not quite enough to tickle my balls. Close.
I'm going to have to disappoint you out there too. This is not aliens.
I thought you were going to say this is aliens.
I think this is down to war nerves and anxiety. I think during the blackout, it's quite hard to see anyway. And if you look up, it could just be a figment of your imagination. You could just see something out the corner of your eye. Could have been a bird, like, just flying, and he saw it. And then all of a sudden,
pop, pop, pop.
Shit, he lets loose. Everyone lets loose. And then the shells and smoke just cause more confusion, so people keep shooting. And I think that is what happened. So, no, I do not believe this was aliens.
Really interesting one, though. I love ones like this.
Thank you for taking the time to listen. We hope you've enjoyed it. You can find us on Instagram at But It Was Aliens Podcast. We're on the Twitter at But It Was Aliens. We're also on Facebook at But It Was Aliens, and our Facebook group is Extraterrestrial Towers. And new to the community is our Patreon page. Patreon! Where you can get yourself some bonus episodes.
Bonus.
That we like to call Side Probes.
Probing on the side.
Where we investigate everything from cryptids, ghosts, myths, and bullshit.
Whoa, 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 whoa. We investigate facts. Paranormal facts. And then decide they aren't real.
I've been Moonwalker, and always he's been Greybeard. Remember, the truth is up there. #probe. Thank you again, Lucky Lucas.
Can I just say... Lucas! I misread your research notes and I thought it said I have a big probe.